17 rescued from sinking Essequibo speedboat. PNC unsure if Harmon is actually resigning. Oil prices are going up. Will GPL follow suit? And why firing some public servants might be the best thing for our nation's future. I am Enrico Bulford, and this is Uncut News. News in news happening, send us a tip on WhatsApp at 592-659-6154. Some 15 passengers, a speedboat captain, and a bowman were rescued following a two-boat collision on Tuesday in the Essequibo River. The newsroom understands that the passenger boat, which had school children, collided with the fishing vessel. The passenger boat immediately began to sink. Fortunately, everyone was wearing safety jackets. They were all rescued by another passing boat. The Maritime Administration has suspended the captain's license whilst the investigation continues. Forest officers 23-year-old Tofawa Thomas and 43-year-old Garfield Cummings were found alive and well on Monday night after being lost for over 6 days in the Bissaroni Forest near Kukwane. The men said they were working in the forest when night fell upon them. So they decided to make camp and try to leave in the morning. But by then they had lost all sense of direction and ended up walking through the forest for close to a week before being found by a search party. They are currently en route to the families, who are grateful that they are alive. Today, 28-year-old police constable Mario Pasaram was freed of a bribery charge after the victim, Patrice Petrie, opted not to offer any evidence. The CID officer was accused of attempting to pervert the course of justice following allegations that he demanded 200,000 Guyana dollars from Petrie to drop criminal charges against him. When the case was called on Wednesday, Petrie chose not to offer any evidence against Pasaram. Subsequently, the charge against Pasaram was dismissed. Despite belonging to the party in question, the PNCR is unsure of Harmon's resignation, as the letter to the National Assembly only signaled his intent to resign. This is according to the chairman of the PNCR, Joanne Holder, who also noted that a long list of candidates is also waiting to take Harmon's place should his resignation take effect on March 15, 2022. The party's chairman was reluctant to disclose the names of the candidates lined up to take Mr. Harmon's seat, but hinted that Gary Best and Mervyn Williams were among two of the suitable candidates. But they have yet to shortlist any candidates specifically. Honestly, at this point, it's actually quite infuriating. So, hear what? I'm not going to report on any of this any further until the opposition makes up its mind about Harmon. Now it's time to tell you about Best Buy's car of the day. Currently on sale is his 2014 Audi Q3. It comes with Bluetooth, mag rims, new tires, TV, CD, stereo, fog lamps, electronic parking brake, back camera, and much, much more. Buy cash for $5.6 million, or pay down as low as $1,120,000 down, with around $108,000 monthly for 5 years, and it's yours. Call or WhatsApp 662-0844 for more info, or visit the showrooms at Lot 171 Peter Road Street, Queenstown, or Lot 2 Lamar Street, and tell them they can send you for this sweet, sweet deal. The body of a female who was found at the Kingston foreshore behind the Marriott Hotel has been identified as 57-year-old Jennifer Sweetnam, an IT manager attached to the Mercy Hospital. On Thursday last, the woman's body was discovered by a passerby. Sweetnam was reported missing by family and friends after they learnt that she did not show up to work on Thursday. Sweetnam had been working at the St. Joseph Mercy Hospital for 38 years and was described as a very quiet and dedicated woman. Her death is considered currently under investigation. Whilst the police suspect it may be a suicide, her family is asking that the police actually truly investigate this case because they suspect foul play. On Tuesday, 43-year-old Devin Simon and 35-year-old Winston Hazel were arrested after Kanu found 5.8 kilograms of cocaine with a street value of $6.5 million in the vehicle they were traveling in. They were intercepted during an operation in the Guy Hawk Park, Tuckville area. The duo are currently awaiting their day in court. 2 persons have been arrested in connection with the murder of 21-year-old Lakan Chatterpall, an Ohio-based Guyanese who was only in town just for a family engagement. According to the police, Chatterpall was stabbed to his lower abdomen during an altercation with 3 men early this morning in Crabwood Creek, Upper Quarantine, Belize. Chatterpall was at a family party on Tuesday night, and it continued well into Wednesday morning when the 3 suspects, who are not related to the family, showed up at the house. The family asked the men to leave, and the three responded with violence, stabbing Chatterpal in the process. While the two have been arrested, the police are currently searching for the third suspect. Who said luxury can't be affordable? Move into your own home in 2022. Lenore Estates West Coast Emerald properties are within your reach. Move out of the landlord's place and put that rent money towards your own 5,000 square foot property. Call or WhatsApp 592-618-5702 for more info. It's now time for today's Run Report. Today, the nation recorded 14 new cases. There are now 1,224 persons dead, 4 in the ICU, 228 in home isolation. And the total number of confirmed cases around the nation now stands at 63,090. So please, people, wash your hands frequently. Avoid touching your nose and mouth and mask up before you leave the house. When you do leave home, try to avoid enclosed spaces and large crowds. And remember to give 6 feet of space between you and others. Now for an oil update. Exactly as expected, the war in Ukraine is continuing to push oil prices to record levels. While most gas stations in Guyana are still keeping their prices relatively stable, Seoul Gas has already increased prices by over 20%. They said that over the past 6 weeks, their fuel acquisition costs have increased by 40%, so they are just increasing the costs to the customers accordingly. In January, the government reduced the tax on fuel by 10% as a move to help consumers. But the market has seemingly taken back all those savings. Nevertheless, it shouldn't be surprising if Guy Oil and Rubis Gas increased their prices as well. Unfortunately, they aren't the only ones considering an increase due to fuel costs. GPL CEO Bharat Dindyal says that if people don't reduce their electricity consumption ASAP, they will seek permission from the Public Utilities Commission to institute a rate hike. Dindyal said that he wants the public to appreciate that they are, quote, in serious trouble. And one of the things that they can do to help is to conserve electricity, end quote. You can multiply your cash by selling digital top-up. This is a legit way you can earn some extra money at your business or to supplement your current hustle. Become a top-up vendor quick and easy by linking with Cellular Plus. Call them on telephone number 685-3109 for more info. Now for our stupid news of the day. You know what I think is stupid? The middle management of most state institutions. It doesn't matter how many times you change the heads of government, you will always have a corrupt government if the middle managers of the state institutions are never changed. Some of the worst acts of corruption are from people in accounting offices with old grievances against staff, or Gaisuko supervisors who demand a cut of their subordinate salaries, or GRA workers who delete X-ray scanner images, or insolent local government officials who drunkenly shoot their girlfriend in the stomach and don't face prison time. I can go on, but you get the point. Ultimately, I believe that each leadership position in government, no matter how small, should require 4 things: a competitive salary, world-class training, a term limit, and an annual performance assessment. Just like in the private sector, our public sector managers need to be judged by the productivity they inspire in their staff. Corruption is counterproductive, and the results are obvious if you actually assess it. They should be assessed by their subordinates, their superiors, and the appropriate public stakeholders. Because if you work for the public sector, there is bound to be a group of citizens you service more than others. I mean, come on, it's the public sector. Of course you're going to be serving the public, so the public should have a say in this assessment. And if the managers fail, give them 6 months to improve. Otherwise, you fire them and replace them with someone on staff who shows promise and knows what they're doing. This encourages people on the inside to hone their skills and to receive more training, because a promotion could be right around the corner. There are many other ways the government can, try to stop corruption, but I feel that those 4 suggestions are the easiest ways to fight corruption by weeding out the bad eggs from the inside. Because if you ask me, remaining to do the same thing as we're doing now is pretty stupid. Now for our uncut news, Views poll question of the day. Every day we pose a question about current events in Guyana, the region, the diaspora, and how you feel it relates to us. Yesterday's question was, should the government intervene to lower oil prices locally? Candacia DaCosta says, no, it didn't wait for the flood to come. I think the government should secure their citizens by taking care of our energy system. Tarifa Wolford feels the government should intervene because we're already living in blackout and it's overbearing. Dhanraj Mohan says, if the hydro project was finished, there wouldn't be any blackouts. That's why Guyana needs to do it now. Plus invest in solar energy and wind turbines and other eco-friendly renewable energy sources. Mohammed Sharif says that a government intervention on a GPL increase is a good thing, but they also need to step up their promises as to getting a fair deal for our oil resources and to stop the exploitation. And finally, Lash says, it's never too late for the government to make investments with long-term solutions. You know what will always fluctuate? The price of crude and fuel. You know what will fluctuate less unpredictably? The rates of sun, wind, and rain in a nation. This country needs to do more with its renewable endowments, and GPL is well positioned to use these elements to their advantage. I agree 100%. We need to solve the current issues as well as look towards longer-term renewable energy sources. For tonight's question, I want to know, if the price of fuel gets to be too expensive, do you think the government should institute cost controls, or is it a little too early to think about that? So I want you to think about that question. Tell us in the comments below. If your response is good enough, we just might feature it in our next episode. Anyway, that's all the time we have for tonight, and check us out tomorrow for another. Until then, I'm Rico Bulford saying good night, folks.